In the last video, I have explained the problem statement and the flow of my design. Now let's start implementing the design. So initially, I told that I have four files. First is module.c, and next is event manager.c, and next is event trigger.c, and a make file. Now my main files are in the module.c. So let's start here. I'm including my library. This is my main function. I already told that my main function starts with initialize event manager. So initialize event manager function, and initially starting this function. Okay. Before that, we can create a structure for events and modules. We can have that initialization in a separate file like header. So I am creating a event manager.h. This file contains all the structures of my all the structures of my design. So initially I am declaring a global variable event manager h, and define event manager h. This is my global variable. This indicates that if a header file is included multiple times, the compiler will process it only for once. And if two headers files include each other, header guards prevent infinite recursion. So these two are used for this purpose. After that, I am defining a maximum number of events that can be assigned for a particular program. So I am defining max event. Max events as 10. I can design only for 10 events. Now I already told that I have an array of events followed by each array consists of a doubly linked list which stores modules. First I am going to create a module structure. For that type def struct module node with variable as module node. This is a structure of module. In this structure, what are all the components that is needed is to create a module, we need a module ID and is stored in a doubly linked list. So we need previous and next node, and also if event is triggered, we have to call this module. So we are including a module handler also, event handler, which is useful if the event is triggered, and it will call the structure for that module to be notified. So first we need a module ID, so I'm declaring a module ID, and next we need a previous and next node. For that I'm declaring a node this is a previous and next pointer, and before that I have told that event handlers are used in this to call whenever the event is triggered. So I am declaring a function pointer that returns a null value, so void value function pointer as event handler, and what are all the arguments to be passed is event id and module id, so that I can call whenever a trigger function is implemented. This is a doubly linked list which stores modules. Next I want to create an event. Now only a node is created. That node we have to insert that in an event array. So I am creating another structure which consists of event id and array of nodes. Event id, and this implement is tell that this structure consists of event corresponding to doubly linked list, which I have already explained, like here. This declaration will define that this declaration is achieved by that structure, event of arrays followed by a doubly linked list, and each doubly linked list has a head node. Now I have to create an array, like extend means I have to I have to include this file only in a particular, include this function only in a particular file. So I'm going with extend, and event which is already assigned, I'm calling this event, and event structure I'm listing event as creating and maximum event arrays. Okay, now I have created a list of event arrays in this structure. Now I have initially created a structure for modules and events. Now okay, this got error, so I haven't included okay, we have started the if function but we haven't entered the same function, so it causes error. Now okay, event manager.h as the structures which is used to store nodes and events. Now let's go to a main function. In main function, initialize event manager. So this in what is this function needs to do is, in doubly linked list every head should be assigned to a null. So this initialize function is used. This function can be written call from the event manager.c. So in this so I want to create a maximum events is 10. So for every for that array 10 arrays, I have to declare as null. I have to declare that head as null. So for loop equal to 0, I less than max events I plus plus. And in the header I have inserted max list arrays, so I have to keep this array as a null. So first I have to declare this function in this, and now this array, this event list of I, event id should be that I, and event list of I module list head should be null. Here this is all in red error. I have to include that header file here, event manager.h. shows error in event manager.h. Okay, I can figure it last. In main function, I have declared this initialize event manager. Next, followed by AR loop. I'm going to display my menu consists of these are all my choices. Now I have to get what is the choice that user wants to do from the user. So enter your choices. I'm getting it from user. First I have to declare the choice in the head. Choice. If the user enters his choice in as a character, that should not be our case. So I'm handling error in this. If only if the user enter the correct choice, it will show. Otherwise it will show an error case. So if the user enter a character, it will automatically display this error message, that is invalid input, please enter a number. Okay, if a character has been entered, you have to delete from the buffer, that is we have to clear that input. For that, if it is not equal to 1, we have to clear, that is opening a void function, opening a null function. It will clear the input buffer, and we have to continue this process. Now, based on choice, we have to do the process. So switch case, I'm using switch case. If case 1, case 1 is for registration purpose. For registering, we need a module ID, follow that number of events, and number of events array. These are the 3 requirements used from the user. So first I am going to get module ID from the user. In the same case, if the user enter a character or some other than number module ID, it will simply throw an error message. So I'm going to do as same done in the above. I'm getting module ID from the user, and if it is a character, it should end an error message. So if the module ID is not equal to 1, that means I can't get that input. it will it will free the buffer. So even though it is a wrong input given by the user, it should freed. So I'm get character if not equal to /n. I have to break here itself. Then if in second case, if the module id is less than 1 or greater than 20, it should also and not an correct module id. So if module id is less than 1 or module id is greater than 20, it should also print an error message, that is module id is not between 1 and 20. So I have to declare this module id in the first itself. Module, I'm declaring module id. Now it will not show error. These are the two cases for module id. After that, I have to get the number of events. So for that, printf enter the number of events to register. If in the same way, if the number of register is a character, that is user entering it as a character, then it should throw an error. So like in the same above cases, I am declaring in the scan function as a if inside the if function. This should not equal to 1. It should print error message, that is invalid input. And also I have to free that input to avoid extra allocation of memory. Next, if a number of event is greater than maximum event, that is 10, that in that case also we have to get an error. I have to check that also. So if number of events is greater than max events, in that case also I have to print an error message, that is number of events exceeds and I have to break here. Now I have get module ID and even number of events. Next I have to get event IDs. So enter event IDs. I am creating an array of event IDs. So to get that I am using a for function. In the same way, if these shows error, I have to declare this number of events as a hint num events. Next this is declared in a header file, so I have to include that also. Event IDs, array of event IDs. For registering, I already told that we need module ID, number of events, and array of event IDs. Also, we need a handler for a we have 20 modules, and for each modules we have a separate handler function. So we have to call that function for registration. We have to call that module handler for registration. So I have to declare the 20 functions in here, that is void mod module 1 handler. This is for module 1 and it contains event id and module id. Using this I can call this function. So here module 1 handler event id equal to %d comma module id equal to %d. Okay, I have created a function for module 1. Likewise, I have to create for all 20 modules. So I just copy and paste. This is module 1 and this is for module 2. Likewise, I have changed all this for 20 modules. Okay, I have created a module function for all 20 modules and I am going to call this for a registration function. Based on module ID which user entered, I have to call this function. So I'm using again a switch case. This is based on module ID. Case 1. If module ID is 1, then I have to call register module for events. I'm going to pass 4 variables, that is first one is module id and second one is a module handler, that is I have defined in the above functions handler, and next is event IDs, and next is number of events. These are the contents to register a module in a particular event. After that I just break. Likewise I have to create for all 20 modules. This is only for a single module. If my module ID is 2, I have to pass this module handler as module 2 handler, and if the module ID is 3, and then I have to pass this module 3 handler. Likewise I have to put for all 20 cases. So I just copy and paste here. I have created separate modules. Based on that I have called that registration functions. After that in switch case we have to add a default case which is other than this 20. Default should be print as invalid event module ID. I have created a switch case for registration. this will call this registration function, which is declared which is defined in the module.c. I'm going to define in that module.c. We have to register this event in the header file. That is I have declared this reserve for my event IDs in this header file. So this definition is going to be in event manager. Modules should be stored in a doubly linked list. So first I create this register module for events and module ID that event handler and then array of event IDs. According to the number of events, I am going to create a loop for each event to store in a particular module. So for loop is created from 0 to that number of events. In that first event, that is I have an array of event IDs. So I am declaring a variable as event ID which stores that event IDs which is given from the user. So this contains a single ID which is stored in an event ID. After that, I have to allocate a memory address to store that node. I am creating a new modular variable, pointer variable. I am allocating memory for module node, and if memory is not allocated, then it should say error message. So if new module is not allocating a memory, it will print us memory allocation failed. Okay. Then automatically it should return. If memory is allocated, then new modules, we have to insert the values to the nodes. So new module ID should contain the module ID, and new modules event handler should contain handler which is passed here, and new module previous should be null because it is a first module, and new module next also should be null. If I'm inserting and that node, this inserting node should be if event array is a null, this inserting node should be a head of that doubly linked list. So if it is not, then it will create it should add into the node. If not, it should be head of that node. So if event list of event ID initially we are creating this head as null. If a module is adding, it should add, or it should be head of that node. So we have to create these two functionalities here. This if function says that if the list is empty, that is there is no modules, then if I creating a module for the first time, then that module should be the head of my linked list. So this new module should be my head. So I'm declaring this module list head as a new module. Else I have to insert that module. So new modules next should be my head, that is already declared as a head, which is pointing to that module, and I have to insert it here. If already that w linked list contains modules, then my new module should be in the I am inserting that new module in the first, that is in the head. I am pointing this as a head. So new module contains inserted in the head function. Here I successfully created a module and inserted into the w linked list. Now to confirm that I am printing it. From this I have created a register module function to register my module. Now registration has been completed. Then okay, here error ev Next, case 2 is display module. So case 1 is completed, and case 2. For display function, we just need a event ID from the user. The same way, I print out the same way, if character is entered, it should be freed and it should throw an error message. So if scanf %t it should print invalid event ID. Next we have to free that. After that, I am going to call display function, which will be defined in the event manager.c file. I'm passing only event ID to display that. Break. First I have to define this function in header file. Okay, I have declared it, and I'm going to define in event manager.c. For display function, I only need to traverse that module. That's it. By traversing, we can print that modules. So while display modules are in event ID. For traversing, we need a temporary variable. So I am creating a pointer variable. temp is empty, that means that there is no module. I am passing this head to this temp variable. If there is nothing has been registered to that particular event, then it should notify the user that there is no module is registered. So if temp is null, not if null, then print no modules registered for event. For that particular event ID. Then it should return the function. If temp is not null, then we have to traverse and we have to print that function. So while temp is true, that is temp is present, I'm going to print it. Temp equal to temp. If once I printed, I am traversing to the next. Here display function is completed by traversing and printing it here. This will print the what are all the models which is registered to a particular event. Next case 3 is delete function. Error. Let's check. I haven't declared it. No, I haven't declared that. So event ID. Now it should. Okay, it is correct there. Next case 3. Case 3 is delete function. For deleting a function, okay, let's check. Case 1 register is completed, case 2 display is completed. Next trigger. I haven't mentioned it. Trigger event. For triggering event, I need only a event ID to trigger it. So case 3, I am getting it from the user. Enter the event ID to trigger. The same way I'm checking it once. And I'm going to free this. Break. Okay. I am getting it from the user. After that, I am going to call this trigger function which is declared in the event manager.c. and passing event ID to it. I'm going to initialize in event manager.h. I have initialized it and I am going to define it in event trigger.c. For triggering event, I'm going to traverse for a particular event and I'm going to notify that modules. So in the display function, like in the same way, I'm going to traverse the modules. So I'm going to point that head to the temp variable. If temp is empty, it should mean there is no event to trigger. Here there is no modules inside that event. Then you should trigger function. system for that particular event handler according to that module ID. Then them should be pointing to the next.